Harvest Harmonics, and welcome to another episode of The Profitable Farmer, where we talk about how to make your operation more profitable. And in this episode, today is Tuesday, the 22nd of November, so we're a couple of days away from Thanksgiving. And I know a lot of guys, just from the people I've been talking to, a lot of guys here in the United States are kind of hunkering down a little bit, finishing up their operations, finishing their last work, and then kind of getting ready for the holiday, getting ready for Thanksgiving, so that they can spend some time with their families. We all know that farmers are the hardest working people in the world. More hours, more hard work than you can possibly imagine during the season. So when they relax, they relax. They spend time with family. And so of course, wanted to start by just saying a very heartfelt thank you to all of our farmers, not just the ones using Kyminasi crop booster, but all the farmers in the world that are working so hard to provide the food that we all eat. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and dedication. I know it's not an easy job. I know you got a lot of people sometimes pointing fingers at you because of some kind of perceived problem or whatever. And I know you don't always get the credit you deserve. And so from our hearts and from my heart especially, thank you so much for all of your hard work. We do really appreciate you. And every time I'm at my Thanksgiving dinner, I look around and I see all the fruits of your labors, all the different products that come from farmers that allow me and my family to share a nice meal together. So thank you so much for that. And the other thing, because keeping in line with the theme of our show, The Profitable Farmer, I wanted to give you the top 5 reasons, the top 5 things you can do to be more profitable in this next year. So if you're wrapping up this year and you're looking to next year, what are you going to do for next year? How are you going to make it better? How are you going to overcome some challenges that you may have been facing and do it in a better way next year so you can become even more profitable? I have these top 5 tips that are going to really help you with that. Number one, first and foremost, is of course use the Kyminasi crop booster. That's a shameless plug, but it's a plug it's based in all honesty. Our system makes plants so much more efficient at utilizing the resources, the water and nutrients that you're using more efficiently and more productively so that you can get the maximum yield and minimum amount of inputs. And that's something that's the basis of all profitability. If you can reduce your cost and increase your top line revenue, you're going to be more profitable. If you just do one of those two things, you might be profitable, you might not. When you can really manage both of those variables and use less inputs and less input cost and increase your yield and improve the quality of your yield, of course, you're going to be more profitable. So that's the number one thing you can possibly do is utilize the Kyminasi crop booster. Another thing you can do is to be engaged in research. Be engaged in continually upgrading and improving your systems and your processes and your farms, whether that's trying new technologies or new products like our crop booster, or whether it's just trying new processes, maybe new ways of doing things, new types of equipment, new methods of irrigation, these types of things. There's a lot of different things you can do to continually improve, and whether it's small incremental improvements or very large changes, there's a lot of different ways that you can continue to move the needle forward and get more and more efficient in your operation and more profitable as a result. So always be looking to that. Number 3, and this piggybacks on the last one that I just mentioned, is R&D tax credits. Okay. For those of you guys who don't know, when you engage in research and development activities for your farm, and you're engaged in actions that are continually trying to make improvements in terms of how you're doing things, you can apply at the end of the year for research and development tax credits. Now, these are special credits that are designed for businesses and for farming especially, which are designed to help you and incentivize you for improving your operation. So let's take a couple of examples here. Imagine if you, sorry, I just want to clear my throat there. Sorry about that. Imagine, for example, if you are in California, right, and you're having a water shortage in your region. The whole California, everybody knows California is having serious drought problems. And so let's say you want to experiment with a new type of irrigation system and a new method of irrigating. So let's say, I'm going to just throw a scenario out there just in case. Let's say you're an almond grower, right, in California, and you have almond trees, and your typical process for irrigation is you're going to irrigate once a week, but you're going to irrigate for like a 36-hour or 24 or a 36-hour cycle. So you're going to just continually irrigate and flood the grove, the almond grove, full of water, and you're going to do that for a day or a day and a half, right? And then you're going to shut the water off and you're going to let it dry out over the course of the next week, and then you're going to hit it again for another 24 to 36 hours, right? So that's a very common, very typical way that an almond grower would irrigate their crops. But let's say you want to try something that instead of irrigating in that sense, you want to put a new irrigation system and you want to pulse irrigate, which basically means you're going to irrigate a very small amount of water, but you're going to do it a couple of times a day. So instead of once a week, now you're shortening that interval to maybe once every 8 to 10 hours, right? And you're going to pulse irrigate for just a little bit of water, but you're going to do it for much more often. And you're going to experiment with ways that you can see if by irrigating in that way, you're able to save a lot of water. And number one, that's obviously, it falls into the second category that I mentioned. Number one, it's going to, if you're able to save water, that could save you a ton of money in fuel and a ton of money in water, because a lot of guys in California are actually paying for water and being really incentivized to save water. And so that can give you a lot of money just in that. If you're able to reduce your water usage by 20 or 30% by irrigating in a different style, then you can save a lot of money in water costs, right? But you can also, by doing it, just by engaging in the experiment, whether the experiment works or not, just by engaging in that action, you can also claim the expenses that are relating to that project on your tax returns at the end of the year. And if you need help with that, you can contact us at service@harvestharmonics.com. We do not provide tax advice, but we do know several tax lawyers and tax specialists that are specializing in the R&D tax credit that can help you determine how much money you can save. Because farmers can offset and write off a lot of those expenses that are relating to research and development. So if you're engaging activities to try to make your farm more efficient or better, especially when it comes to resource management like water, fertilizers, pesticides, those types of things, which governments really are trying to minimize. And of course, we would all like healthier food and a healthier water supply and everything else. So there's a lot of incentives and government incentives to utilizing this, and the research and development tax credit is, of course, one of those ways. So don't overlook that, especially toward the end of the year. You want to make sure that you're maximizing your tax incentives so that you're able to get the most out of it. Now, I think Donald Trump in 2016 famously said, I don't pay taxes because I'm smart. That makes me smart that I don't pay my taxes. It was an accusation by Hillary Clinton at the time. He said, that makes me smart that I don't pay my taxes. The tax laws are written to take an advantage of, and it doesn't mean you have to do anything shady or illegal. It just means, hey, these are the tax laws. There are certain laws that are going to cost you and not benefit you. And there are other laws that you can take advantage of. So take advantage of the research and tax credit. And if you're not doing anything currently to really take advantage of that, in other words, you're not doing any proactive research or things to improve your processes or your farm, the Kyminasi Crop Booster is a perfect example of the type of thing that you can use for an R&D tax credit. So if you want to try us out on a field or a couple of fields, you can actually offset some of those costs, not just in terms of operating costs as an operating expense, but you can also set up a small trial with us or even a large data evaluation trial and take advantage of the R&D tax credit and write off even more of that project and the expenses relating to that project off of your taxes. So a lot of that can pay for itself. Number four, the fourth way that you can become more profitable and do things better is really take a look at regenerative agriculture. Take a look at soil health. And this is something that's super important. If you're not taking active steps to continually manage your soil health, especially microbial activity in soil, water retention characteristics, organic matter in the soil, CEC, and these different factors, you should be taking time and energy to manage your soil. I know it's not always a popular subject for every farmer to do a soil test at least once a year or sometimes twice a year. But these types of things, if you're able to measure, the effects that you're having and measure things as you go, as opposed to just sort of blindly throw a lot of water at something or a lot of nutrients at something, but really take a look at what your soil needs and give it what it needs, but not more. That's a definite way you can be a lot more precise. And using precision agriculture techniques, precision measuring devices, and those systems may seem like a cost, and so sometimes they can be upfront, but the amount of money you can save by making your whole operation more efficient more than pays for itself. So really take a look at ways that you can become more efficient and really understand and utilize your soil. Your soil is your number one resource, okay? And obviously farming and obviously fertilizing and everything is important, and irrigation is important, but you want to do that in an intelligent way. So consult your agronomist, consult your local soil scientists, work with your extension office, and take soil tests and just look at what your soil actually needs, but work to figure out in the next, and a lot of farmers that I know who do really, really well, they actually have a 3, 5, and 10-year plan or 20-year plan in some of them in terms of what they want to do with their soil. So it's not just a matter of let's get a good crop out this year. And it can be extremely hard to do that. I understand when you're having a bad year and you're just trying to survive, there are those times, but pay attention to your soil health because your soil will take care of you if you take care of the soil. So that's my fourth tip. And the last tip that I have for you to become more profitable here in 2022 and of course 2023 is take advantage of our Black Friday special. Now, I already talked about the crop booster as the best way to make your farming more efficient because we're increasing yield by 20, 30, 50, 100% above standard farming practices by our side-by-side comparisons. And we're helping reduce input costs with fertilizer, water, and pesticide usage. So it's the best way to make your farming more efficient. But the way to make it even more profitable is take advantage of our Black Friday specials. We have two different specials going on. One has to do with a very good discount, a very steep discount across the board, where we're giving people very special pricing right now to take advantage of this. And this is going on right now through the end of the year. So definitely take advantage of our Black Friday specials. If you have seen our broadcast before and you were thinking about taking advantage of this, and maybe the timing wasn't right, or you're in the middle of your season, or you were looking at maybe you thought the price seemed a little high at the time, now is the perfect time to jump in on this and don't wait any longer. We just had a farmer that I talked to literally about 8 months ago. Again, it just wasn't the right timing 8 months ago for him. He found out about our special. He jumped on board. So James, thank you very much for that. We'll get that out to you tomorrow. We'll get that shipped out to you. But just take advantage of these specials, take advantage of these opportunities, because now not only can you look at return on investments that are 5 times, 10 times, 100 times. I saw a rose farmer the other day who his return on investment was 100 times the cost of my system, meaning for every dollar he gives me, he's going to get a $100 bill back in return. And I have seen numbers like this. This is not just a freak example. I've seen numbers where farmers are making 20, 30, 50 times their money back just because of the improvements that we're having on their farm. So I want you to understand, don't think of this as some investment that's going to cost you a bunch of money. Our system returns huge dividends when you look into it. So there is huge benefits to using our system. And now with the Black Friday special we have going on, it's even better deal. So now is the time to jump in. Don't wait till next year. Don't wait till everybody else is using this and the price goes up, or everybody else is using this and your competitive advantage has disappeared. Jump on board with this right now. This is the time to set your farm up with the crop booster and make your farm super efficient and super profitable. So take advantage of this opportunity right now with the Black Friday special. The other thing we have going on through the end of the year is our referral special. We have a refer a friend. We all know that that it's a lot better, a lot more fun to try new things when you have your friends and buddies trying it also. You get 4 or 5 guys all using the same thing, and there's kind of a friendly competition to see how much you can get versus how much your buddy can get versus how much your other friend down the road can get. And we're offering a very special discount for every farmer that refers somebody to us, which can even cut the cost of your system down even further. Or if you've already got your system and you're all set, we'll gladly pay you the referral commission in cash. No problem there, or for future credits, etc. we want to work with you to help you out. So 2 very special offers, the Black Friday special plus the referral special. You can get huge, deep discounts on the best technology that farming has ever seen. And you can be one of the first people to use it. So you get a huge competitive advantage over everybody else. We all know that the people who jump on effective, beneficial technologies first get huge, huge rewards, and you can be no different. So take advantage of these 5 tips that I've just given you. Take advantage of our Crop Booster special, our Black Friday special. And if you want more information, again, you can email us at service@harvestharmonics.com, as you just saw, or you can call us directly at 727-324-6750. And if you're externally from us, if you're outside the United States, again, just email us at service@harvestharmonics.com, and we'll work with you so that you can become part of the future of farming today. That's all I got. Once again, a heartfelt thank you to all of our farmers out there. And Joe, I'm going to actually, I have a couple of questions here. Let me go back here. I just want to answer some questions here. Have you ever seen how Dominican Republic crop growers they do underwater crops? Yep, I've actually looked at hydroponic growers and that type of thing. What would you do if you had an invasive plant? That's a good question. Invasive plants are usually plants that are not native to a specific area, and they have a tendency to overgrow their environment because the natural things that would normally hold a plant in check with its environment, the equilibrium or balance those plants have with the environment, is not there. When you take that plant and put it in a new environment, maybe the pests or the other things that would keep that plant in check are no longer there. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. Obviously, it's the standard methods with plant growth and that kind of stuff. But the easiest way to handle that is just take a look at what the natural predators of those invasive species are and implement that in your arrangement. So if there's a particular weed or something that keeps that plant in check, if it's not a desirable plant, obviously you can weed it, and those are good ways to take care of invasive plants. So the best berry grows good. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. I'm going to call your dad up and see if we can help him out with Crop Booster. Everybody else, again, happy Thanksgiving if we don't hear from you. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. If you want to take advantage of those 5 tips, please do so. Give me a call and let's work to help you become part of the future of farming today. We'll be here today and tomorrow. We're off for Thanksgiving, but we will be back on Friday and the rest of next week and the rest of the year to make sure that we take care of all of our hardworking farmers out there. Have a great day, guys.